So cell cycle, it is a very small topic but yet high yield topic for the MBBS exam and NEET exam. It is also important for understanding cancer biology and radiotherapy, right? So in this video we'll cover all phases of the cell cycle and high yield facts such as radiosensitive and radio resistant phases of the cell cycle. So let's get started with the cell cycle. So first phase is G0 phase, which is also called as resting phase. In this phase, cell is metabolically active but not actively dividing. So some cells may remain in this phase for years, like neurons and cardiac muscle. So once the cell receives appropriate growth signal, it exits G0 phase and enters the G1 phase. So G1 phase is nothing but gap 1 phase. So in this phase, the cell prepares for the DNA replication. So cell size increases, growth of the cell occurs in this phase. So RNA protein synthesis occur. So after the G1 phase, cell enters the S phase, which is synthetic phase. In this phase, DNA replication occurs, histone protein synthesis occur. So DNA content doubles in this phase. So once the cell enters the S phase, it is committed to the division. It will divide into two daughter cells, right? So after the DNA synthesis and replication occurs, DNA replication occurs, it enters the G2 phase, where if there is any DNA damage or any damage in the cell, it is being repaired in this phase. Like one before dividing the entire cell is being checked and repaired. So cell is prepared for the mitosis. So it lasts for the 4 hours and the synthetic phase lasts for 6 hours. So after the G2 phase, once the cell prepares for the mitosis, it enters the M phase and the cell actively divides in this phase. Nuclear division occurs in M phase, nuclear division, and cytokinesis occurs. So M phase, this nuclear division occurs in 1 to 2 hours. So after the M phase, cell produces two daughter cells, right? So again these daughter cell will enter the G1 phase. The cycle happens, keeps on. So this is about cell cycle. So after the after understanding the cell cycle, one should be able to answer the MCQs on these radiosensitive phase, which is radio resistant phase. So in all these phases of the cell cycle, which is most radiosensitive phase? Yes, M phase is most radiosensitive, and G2 also radiosensitive phase, which is radio resistant phase. S phase. S phase is radio resistant phase. So in human body, which cell is most radiosensitive cell? Yes, lymphocytes. Remember, this is a fact. So lymphocytes has big nucleus and scanty cytoplasm. So it is more sensitive to the radiation and prone to the uh, damage, right? Most radio resistant cells are platelets, and mature neuron cells and skeletal muscle cells, right? Most radio resistive tumor is lymphoma. What if they ask most radio sensitive bone tumor? Then answer is Ewing's sarcoma, right? So these are all the high yield MCQs which are asked in exam. Thank you.